I think Mrs. Wagner's patience and courtesy have been abused long enough.
I'm sorry to detain you for so long. We had to collect the crime scene report and medical examiner's findings. Neither one support Mrs. Wagner's account of the incident. In addition, Detective Kelly states she made an incriminating solicitation to him the night before. Unless we get more information, we're going to have to arraign this as a murder.
Gentlemen, I'm not going to try this case in a detective squad room, but let me assure you, the absence of powder residue does not preclude a close-range weapon discharge, nor does an apartment failing to show signs of physical struggle mean a struggle didn't happen. Now, as far as Mrs. Wagner's ostensibly soliciting Detective Kelly to kill her husband, it would take me 5 minutes to convince a jury that was a confused and ultimately innocuous remark. So innocuous, in fact, that at the time the detective chose not to report it.
Mrs. Wagner.
Talk to me, Detective Kelly, and only to me. On which subject you should also understand that since you failed to give Mrs. Wagner her Miranda warning, nothing she said to you in her apartment last night is going to be admissible in court.
She didn't need Miranda. When she talked to me, she wasn't a suspect. But when she became a suspect, I advised her to keep quiet until she had counsel.
Well, that's a difference of opinion we'll take up before a judge.
And you're just dying to get the bat on this one, aren't you? Pump up that bill.
What do you think I should do, Detective?
He's not your lawyer, Mrs. Wagner.
Mrs. Wagner, I can imagine something like this. Your husband came home, he was loaded. You were afraid you were going to get another beating, so you went into the bedroom and you got the gun. When you came out, you asked him to leave, and he wouldn't. Maybe he started toward you, and so you shot him from across the room.
It's like...
Don't answer. She's not going to answer you, Detective.
And if that's the way it happened, you better say so now. Because a DA can write this up as manslaughter. A legal aid attorney can get you easy time, maybe even off, let alone a 7-figure ace like this.
You're wasting everybody's time, Detective.
Mrs. Wagner, don't underestimate us. If you lie, we will nail you. Tell the truth, and I will testify for you. I will verify that you'd been beaten up the night before and that you were emotionally distraught. But this smart son of a bitch wants you to stick to your story. That's gonna land you in Central Booking and Rikers Island with the whores and the junkies. Not him, you. So you make the decision. You're the one who's gonna be doing the time.
Lieutenant, I want him out of this room so that I can consult with my client.